grab your gears, let's gather round. An adventure is always waiting. This storytelling news for us, and we always know what's happening. We act, we play, we dance, we sing from 9 to 10 on Saturday morning. Youth on the go. Whoa. Let's start the show. Youth on the go. Whoa. Let's start the show. Whoa. Let's go, let's go, let's go.
Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Good morning to all of our radio listeners, our viewers via Von Radio's Facebook page and YouTube channel, and welcome to this edition of Youth on the Go here on Von Radio. I am ZAHNELA CLAXTON from the Ministry of Education at TAL, and it is indeed a pleasure to be here with all of you today, this beautiful Saturday morning. We had a few showers this morning, but the sun is coming out, and it's looking like it's going to be normal sunny day with a few sprinkles here and there, but we are so happy to be here. We're here happy to be at this point, and let me tell you, I can tell you that every child and every teacher and everyone associated with the school system is happy today because we closed off officially this week, and we are now in the Easter break, so we have closed out term 2 of the 2025 academic year, and we are looking forward to term 3. Term 3 is coming up in short order. So for those who have asked and those who are not sure, term 3 school reopens for term 3 on Tuesday, April 22nd, 2025. That's Tuesday, April 22nd, 2025. As you know, Good Friday is April 18th and Easter Monday is April 21st, and so school will reopen right after Easter Monday. Please take note, parents and guardians. In the interim, there are so many activities happening to engage our students, and we trust that parents have enrolled their children in the various activities available. Some of the activities are privately run activities, and some activities are run by some of our government offices. Of course, you know, the Department of Youth is hosting the annual Easter camp, captioned Tech Dynamos, and the Nevis Cultural Development Foundation, they're hosting the annual Easter cultural camp as well, and we know that your children will have a lot going on and be well engaged over the break. We also want to, right at the start of the show, and we're going to segue a bit, but we want to start at the start of the show, say heartfelt congratulations and highest commendations to the teams, to all of the teams who competed in the recently concluded Nevis Primary Schools Championship, sponsored by Bonnie Limited and the Gulf Limited. We know that it was a nail-biting event, I must say, for those persons who served as spectators. From all reports, you enjoyed the competition, you enjoyed the event, and I want to say congratulations to the first place team, the Charlestown Primary School. Charlestown Primary School was able to six-peat. Also to the second place team by a little bit of a difference, and as I said, it was highly competitive, and it is reflective in the scores. The Ivor Walters Primary School, and then third place went to the St. Thomas's Primary School. High commendations and a large shout out to the St. James Primary School. They placed fourth. They fielded 18 athletes, and they were able to place fourth in the competition. And so congratulations to you, St. James Primary. So just to give you the final medal count, and I know that most persons know, but for those who do not, and as we're acknowledging the contributions of the various schools, the final medal count: Charlestown Primary Tigers, 16 golds, 15 silvers, 16 bronze. Ivor Walters Primary School Mustangs, 16 golds, 11 silvers, and 16 bronze. The St. Thomas's Primary School Jaguars, 10 golds, 9 silvers, and 8 bronze. St. James Primary School Thunders, 9 golds, 1 silver, 2 bronze. The EPPS Lions, 6 golds, 1 silver, 1 bronze. Joyston Library Primary School Falcons, 5 golds, 17 silvers, 15 bronze. Nevis Academy Eagles 1 gold, 5 silvers and 6 bronze. Mod Cross Prep Eagles 1 gold, 1 silver, 3 bronze. VOJN Primary School Blue Dragons 4 silvers and 4 bronze. We had for the first time the Montessori Academy Monarchs, and we want to say welcome to the Montessori Academy Monarchs. They came in and their students represented their school well for the first time as an individual team. Prior to that, Montessori fielded athletes a few years ago as part of a combined team. At that time, they combined with the Nevis Academy, but this year they fielded just 4 athletes this round as part of their own team, and we are so proud of you, Montessori Academy Monarchs. And so, of course, the championship trophies were distributed on the night of the event, with our sponsors being able to distribute those awards. We also want to take this opportunity to say thank you to our title sponsors, Money Limited and Gulf Limited. We also want to say thank you to our platinum sponsors, Rams and National Bank, and to all of our various sponsors for the event. We want to say highest commendations to you as well. We'll spend a few minutes after the break, after we've segued, to dissect the sponsors per school, because as you know, the event is not run solely by the event sponsors. The event sponsors ensure the logistics of the meet are taken care of, and we also have sponsors, school level sponsors, to ensure that the schools are taken care of based on their various needs. In some instances, schools have individual sponsors, and in some instances they have a group of sponsors. So we want to say to our sponsors, thank you, and we wish you the very, very best. All right, and so on that note, we are commending all persons who in some way contributed to the success of the 2025 edition of the championship. This would not have been successful without the various committees, and as we would say, what we see on the track is what we see on the track, but behind the scenes you had your steering committees for various components of the meet. We also had the various committees within the schools. Each school had a sports committee, and so we wanted to make sure that we also highlight and give recognition to those persons and those entities. Okay, so on that note, we will take a short break. When we return, we will have a conversation with a very important organization related to education. I won't tell you who just yet, but when we come back, we'll field that call, and then we'll continue the conversation.
Sugar City St. Kitts, keep it sweet. Keep listening to VAH.
It's time, come on, rise and shine. You know, I know we're gonna have a great time. And now we're past it quickly, you don't wanna miss it. So turn up the radio, it's you on the go. You on the go. Oh, let's start the show. Oh, you on the go. Oh, let's start the show. Oh, let's go. I will learn new things. I will be creative. Grab your gears, let's gather around. An adventure is always waiting. The storytelling news for us, and we always know what's happening. We act, we play, we dance, we sing from 9 to 10 on Saturday morning. You on the go. Whoa, let's start the show. Oh, you on the go. Whoa, let's start the show. Whoa, let's go.
let's go. Good morning to all of our radio listeners, our viewers via Von Radio's Facebook page and YouTube channel, and welcome to this edition of Youth on the Go here on Von Radio. I am ZAHNELA CLAXTON from the Ministry of Education Etal, and it, as I said, is indeed a pleasure to be here this Saturday morning, this beautiful Saturday morning. If you're not on island, if you're overseas, know that it is a beautiful Saturday morning here on Nevis, and we know that most of you might be planning to, those who are from here, might be planning a trip here at some point during the year. So we just want you to know it's a beautiful space, and as we say, we live where most persons vacation. At this point, we're going to segue a bit just to have a very important conversation. Last week, I started the conversation related to the Stepping Stone Nursery, and we are aware that the Stepping Stone Nursery will be celebrating a major anniversary this year. The Stepping Stone Nursery will be celebrating their 35th anniversary in short order on May 1st, and that is the birthday, Stepping Stone Nursery's birthday, big celebration day. Many children across the island attended or were in the capable hands of the staff of Stepping Stone Nursery during that time. From the time when it started until now, many generations, I think we can say, have gone through. And so last week we read the profile of the founder of the nursery in the person of Mrs. Leonie Decent. Most persons know her as Pat, or the students might say Decent, but she is on the line, and we are going to have a short conversation with her. She'll get to tell us a bit about the history and some of the experiences related to the journey from start to year 35. Good morning, Mrs. Dyson.
Good morning, Miss Jackson. Good morning.
All right, it's so good to hear your voice, and we're so happy to have this conversation this morning with you. We know that the operations started on May 1st, 1990. Some of the children listening have no clue what Nevis looked like and what it was like in 1990. So let's go back. Let's go back to leading up to the opening day and why you started, or why the nursery. At that time, it was a home-based center. What was the impetus, the reason for starting the nursery?
Well, good morning again, listening audience. What propelled me into nursery care? I love children, and anybody who know my background from early days, childhood, I was a child myself and always lagging with other people's children. But what really propelled me to get into the child care sector is the fact that when I had my son, my first and only child, I had a lot of setbacks finding somewhere to place him without worries. So he had to be here 1 week, there another week, and I thought, at that time I was employed at the Trinity Broadcasting Service, and I thought, I'm sure that there are other people who are going through the same thing as I am going through, and I discussed it with one Brian Warner, now deceased, and Jackie Brooks English, and we sat down and, had some thoughts together, came up with a name, and we move on from there.
Wow, wonderful. And so 1990 was also a big year for us on Nevis because, as we know, that was a time when Four Seasons was also coming on stream, and there were other things happening in other dynamics happening, a shift from the parents being at home more so with their children to now more mothers and grandmothers who would normally have stayed home moving into the workforce to capitalize on the opportunities of the Four Seasons Hotel. Can you remember, I know I'm taking you way back, can you remember any of the first students who were, or the first set of children who formed the initial group of Stepping Stone Nursery?
Yes, the first I started with 7. Kyle Sargent from the Cotton Ground area.
Okay.
Winnet and Florel Hobson. Richie Richards, he's from Stony Grove. My own son Tishon. Ira Willett from Ramsbury. Ryan Walters, he was from the Gingerland area. Davincia Clark from the Ramsbury area.
Wow. And so, and a lot of this, a lot of these people, when you call their names, I can place them. I know them. Among them, I'm seeing entrepreneurs. I'm seeing physicians. I'm seeing persons, just educators. Among the first 7 coming out of the Stepping Stone Nursery, and that I think is testament to some of the work that you have done. As time progressed, before we get there, what about the persons who started off in the first year or first years working with you? Did you start off as the sole child care person, or just you alone, or did you have other persons with you, and how did you transition?
Well, I started out with a cook. Sylvia Frederick from Bath Village. She was the cook we provided breakfast and lunch. And there were 2 persons who came from the church that I worship, I worship at the Charleston, but these 2 workers came out from the Gingerland church, Karen Williams Powell and Karen Herbert. Karen Herbert is still with us. She's the longest serving caregiver. She came on as a cleaner and has now moved up to a caregiver. She has served 32 of the 35 years.
Wow. All right, so we want to take a moment out to say congratulations to Karen Herbert. 32 years in childcare, and of course you said she started off as a cleaner and was able to elevate, and I know over the time she was able to see certain skills modeled and then of course pass them on herself. So we say commendations to her and to you for also molding and working with her for these 32 years so far. So as we speak to the progress and you know the evolution of Stepping Stone Nursery, we know that you started off in Stony Grove, vicinity of Charlestown Preschool, just to give persons a frame of reference. And over time, are you still there, and what does Stepping Stone look like today?
Well, in 2014, we were busting our seams, and they had new regulations in place for early childhood, and so we were forced, which worked out for good. All things work together for good, and so we rented where we are at now at a place on. Well, it's Stony Grove, but bordering the Pump Road street, right on the opposite side of Old House Cafe. So we have been there for some 11 years.
Wow.
And as I say, all things work together for good.
All right.
Even though when we started at the Pump Road, we had a roll of almost 40 children. And on coming to COVID, the number was cut by the early childhood into half. So we are now licensed to carry 28 only. Okay.
And we want to clarify as well that you still have the location at Stony Grove, the initial Stony Grove location.
Yes, so we call it phase 1 and phase 2.
Okay, so there are 2 phases of Stepping Stone Nursery. What is your current enrollment? Combined.
What is the current role?
Yeah, combined.
I'm sorry?
Yes, your combined current roles, phase 1 and phase 2.
So we are 28 at Pump Road, and that's our license amount, and at Stony Grove we are licensed to carry 15.
Okay.
But I must dare say that there are times, and I want to say publicly, that we would roll over a little from the 28, but I do not put that in place without liaising with the authorities at education, because most of the time, if I go to 30, it would be just because somebody's coming off from off island and just want a short a
Yes.
short stay. So I always liaise with those folks at early childhood and say, I know I'm licensed to carry 28, but I have this thing where, and I'm taking 2 more short term and stuff like that.
Okay.
But if I may dare say, early childhood is nothing like once ago. When I started here, home base, I didn't just open my door and say, okay, I have 7 children lying up, and I had to go through the ropes of writing a letter to the education department and saying, kids, they sent over a team at my house to ensure that in my house the 7 children would be safe. And one of the amusing things that is something that always amazed me or amused me is that the fact that I'm close to the Charleston preschool.
Yes, yes.
And they wanted to be sure that I wasn't competing, mine a preschool and I'm only in a nursery, but they wanted to be sure that I'm not competing. And so they came over. At that time it was Christine Springett who was at education. So she came to visit my house with a team of 5.
Wow.
And that had to go through all sorts of details before they said yes.
Wow.
In my home base. But no, nurses. And then you had to do a course. So you just didn't open your door because children were available. I think that's where early childhood may have been slipping, but it is what it is. But just to say that, and if I may dare say too, while I'm elaborating on that, I got the opportunity to go to Serval, Trinidad, to do a course, and I was one of the first private persons. And I said thanks to Vanta Walters because she left no stone unturned, she along with Christine Springett, because at that time, it was going to Serval was based on the fact that you were working at a government center.
Oh, okay.
So, I got the opportunity, and I was one of the 5, and thanks to those 2 ladies for really pushing to get me there.
Okay, so you made a reference to Serval, and most persons don't know what that means and what that looked like. So let's take a moment for them to understand that you are trained at a higher level than most. And
yes.
So let's talk about the length of time that it took and what are some of the things that took place during that training.
Okay, my course was a 6-month course, and when I came, we were attached to different schools. Other than the training center where you go and learn the rigors of, the details of being a part of the early childhood, we were attached to different schools in Trinidad. And there are a lot of things. Now, I'm not talking against Serval, I'm just saying from my heart. When I got there, over time, to me, some of the things weren't related to early childhood. A lot of us came back with grievances, so to speak. And, we had to write a report, and I wrote a report, and I declared that what we went to Serval for could well happen here on St. Kitts Nevis in the Federation of St. Kitts Nevis. And when we came from our training at the different schools, or when we have our lecture sections and so, we were bombarded with we were what you call it now, housekeeping clerks. We had to wash linen. God knows where they came from. We had to, And
so you made a statement, and I want to bring us forward to 2025. That the training could very well have taken place in the Federation or right here on Nevis. So let's fast forward a bit to 2025. Back then, when the Serval was in place, there wasn't a program in place in the Federation to train persons in early childhood within the Federation. Even though, for example, there was teacher training and all those things, there wasn't anything specific to early childhood. So fast forward to 2025. Although I can say there may still be a slight gap, we can now say that at the CFBC there is an early childhood trained teacher certification. When I say that there's a gap, it focuses on early childhood, and the practicum component usually focuses on preschool up to age 8, and so that's why I said there might be a gap in terms of the nursery experience. But I do not doubt that while there, they actually get the chance to interact at that level as well. So I'm just saying to say, over a period of 35 years, we've seen where persons had to go to Trinidad. And get even that 6-month training to now, if persons are interested in the field of early childhood, they can also go to St. Kitts. They're right here, and it's a UE certified program. So as as time evolves and people figure out the little tweaks that have to be made, those are some of the key components that we have to highlight, that yes, we can now get persons, and we have young people who have been going to receive that training. It's not a very old program. I think it's less than 10 years old, but at least over the 35 years, we could see that. Are there any persons who you would consider long-standing staff members for Stepping Stone? I know that you cannot even start. Over 35 years, there's no way I think you can start to list all of your staff members.
I didn't hear the first part.
Are there any persons who you would consider to be long-serving staff members of the Stepping Stone Nursery? Persons outside of Karen who may have invested a few years, or maybe we don't want to start calling names yet, or right now, because you might forget some, which is fine as well. But is there anyone who may have invested a long period of time, they may not be with you today, but you want to say a special good morning to?
Yes, I want to say a special good morning to Karen Powell. Yes, hard-working, dedicated she was to Stepping Stone Nursery, and all the others who have made a contribution in some way or form. And at present, I have the person who's serving 17 years is Onika Fortune Pollard, better known as Teacher Fortune. She's very capable, trustworthy, organized, hard-working. I need to say to the public, I don't have to look over my shoulder.
Wonderful.
And she is the supervisor of phase 1.
Okay. And how many years did you say she invested?
17 years.
17 years so far, yes. So you're looking at over 15 years?
When I met Teacher Fortune, she came as a parent seeking a position for her first child. She was living in Mount Strat, and after the volcano activity thing, and some people had to be rooted all over. She came to Nevis under the brambles, and so she came to me asking for a spot for her child, because the nurses recommend that the child should be among children, of her age, to boost up her speech and all of that. And right away, instantly, I cut the conversation and I said, "Are you working?" She said, "No." I said, "Would you like to work here?" I don't even know where that came from. But there was a connection, and up to now, people feel like we are sisters. I feel that way.
Yes.
I feel that way. So, yes, God sent.
Wow.
God sent.
And so that I think the message I'm getting from that is that, and this is one for our young people who are listening, even our parents who are listening, that you never know where opportunities may arise.
Exactly.
And so you treat every opportunity and every interaction with the highest level of professionalism and respect. And sometimes you're interviewing for a job, boys and girls, teenagers, you're interviewing for a job and you don't even realize. I hope that you got that as much as I got that from that story that was shared. All right?
True. Like the Vanta Walters used to say when they come over from St. Kitts to do inspection. She used to say to me, "You see me playing with the toys with the children? You think I'm just interacting with the children?" And she would giggle, and I would say, "What are you doing?" And she would say, "I'm trying to see if your toys were washed." So sometimes, as I always say to my staff, a visitor might be talking to you, but their eyes are all over. You know, cleanliness is one of the first things that, you know, I vouch for. So, you know, I always remember Vanta would say, you think I'm just playing with the children, no? I'm trying to see if your toys are clean.
Wow. Wonderful. And that again, persons don't realize that behind the scenes, especially when you're working with this vulnerable group, that you have to constantly be washing, constantly be cleaning, and you know, even with, for those who didn't realize, I hope they did after COVID, when we realized just how easily things can spread. And so at the centers, it's important for that constant cleaning and washing and sanitizing to ensure that the children remain safe and healthy. And so if having cleaners in place, and even the teachers making sure that things are kept clean is important as well.
Yes, and this might be a means of, well, I wouldn't say begging, I don't like that word, but just to say that since COVID, we still continue the protocol of when a child gets to the nursery, there's a face basin on the outside, the child must wash hands before they come up the steps, and that the entry of the gate, their temperature is taken before they enter.
Yes, because many people don't know that.
It's an expensive venture because we spray the bags every morning with the Lysol spray, and then you have to have the hand liquid soap. So anybody out there who would like to donate, we're open.
So we're not begging, we're doing a call for donations and support. And know that the importance of temperature checks. I tell persons that any child with a temperature elevation, a child with a fever, it's an indication that something is off, and usually it means that whatever it is may be contagious or, you know, can be spread. And so it is always in the best interest to exercise the necessary precautions. Even the older children outside of the daycare nursery setting, the older children, as long as there's an elevation, there's something that can potentially be contagious, and so we have to be very mindful of that. You spoke about the call for donations and contributions. You're celebrating 35 years, Mrs. Descent. I know that you have probably hundreds, if not thousands, of past students and parents out there. Some might be wondering, well, what can I do to support or to register my thank you, my appreciation to Stepping Stone Nursery? If anyone has any form of donation or contribution or support, or if they want to know how they can help further, how can they reach out to Stepping Stone Nursery to continue that conversation?
Well, I would like to nominate the donations track to one Nicole Lawrence. I don't have all the numbers, but she can be reached at she can be reached next week. We'll give an update on that. Okay, perfect. Just for transparency and all that, we, instead of, you know, I having to deal with that, Nicole Lawrence right now, she's the front runner, organizer on the planning team. She's the head of the planning team, and if it is monetary, I would prefer it to go through her. However, we are open to potty training, and potty training takes a lot of toilet paper. Okay. So we can never have too much. I mean, when you think one is over it, they get caught up in play, and down comes the water. Yes, yes. So disinfectant, Clorox, we make sure we put a little of that in the dishes and in the mop bucket and so on and so on. So those things are always needed. And so it's not just the 35, that at any point during the year, if they want to contribute toilet paper or Lysol spray or soap or those things that keep the space sanitized and safe for our children, they can also do so. Okay, perfect. So
Mrs. Ascent, as we look at the calendar, I'm going to run through, and we're not going to focus on the calendar, of course, exclusively, but it's important for persons to have an idea of what is going on. And with your permission, I would like to read some of the activities that are still yet to come before we continue the conversation. So still to come, I think the next big event will be the 35th anniversary grand parade and launch, and that is coming up on April 25th. Remember, listeners, viewers, we said that May 1st is happy birthday number 35 for Stepping Stone, and so the grand parade and launch will take place on April 25th. According to the information that we have, it starts at 9 a.m. from the Charlestown Methodist parking lot and goes towards the CSS, the Villa Grounds. Yes. Then there, we know that in everything we have to put God first and at the center. And so there's a Thanksgiving service scheduled at the St. Paul's Anglican Church, 9 a.m. on Sunday, 27th April. And those are just before the actual birthday, the actual anniversary day on May 1st. May 1st, I'm seeing an open house at phases 1 and phases 2. I think that would be a good day. What do people do on birthdays? They take gifts. So Mrs. Dayson might be a little bit reserved in saying it, but I'm going to say it's a good day to take some gifts to Stepping Stone, listeners and viewers, and you've had some ideas of some of the gifts that you can take, whether you want to go and get a case or two of toilet paper or other supplies. Next week, as Mrs. Dayson said, we'll expound a bit more on how to properly send any support items through donations or contributions. But know that I am recommending from this platform, I'm recommending that for birthday parties that you should take gifts and knowledge, the birthday girl or birthday place or birthday space. And so I'm encouraging everyone on May 1st to do that. We have just about a month to get that together and to figure out how we're going to celebrate Stepping Stone, especially those persons who are past students or parents of past students there at Stepping Stone. And then one of the things that Stepping Stone has been known for over the years has been the fun days and the sports days. I think maybe one of the first to introduce this at the nursery level. Yes, definitely. And so the Fun Sports and Bake Sale will take place on May 22nd, which is the day after the birthday. So the party continues there, and they will have Lucky Dip as well. Then when you're celebrating big, you celebrate big. There's a 35th anniversary awards and cocktail gala at the Malcolm Gishard Recreational Park on Saturday, 10th May. The graduation send-off for the class of 2025. I'm so happy to see this because, there has been a lull in that as well after COVID. So there's a graduation send-off for those children who will be transitioning to preschool, and that's on Saturday, 12th July. And the celebrations continue straight down, listeners and viewers, to December. So there's an island tour on August 9th, and you'll get details as we go through probably the summer months. There's a talent extravaganza and magazine launch on November 1st, and there's a staff holiday appreciation dinner. I like how the anniversary celebrations are the expectation to close them down by focusing on the staff during the holidays, and that's on December 19th. The theme, Mrs. Dayson, we didn't touch on the theme. The theme, Growing Together, celebrating loyalty and nurturing a sustainable future. I'll repeat it. Growing together, celebrating loyalty and nurturing a sustainable future. During the course of the month as well, listeners and viewers, we will have giveaways and trivia questions here on Youth on the Go on Saturday mornings. And so we're going to take a very short break, and when we come back, Mrs. Descent will hang on because she will have the first trivia question for our listeners and viewers with a big prize compliment. Well, big for me, compliments the Stepping Stone Nursery and their partners. So we'll take a break and we'll be right back.
When VON vibrates, the whole Caribbean must shake.
860 AM, the powerhouse.
It's time, come on, rise and shine. You know, I know we're gonna have a great time. And now we're past it quickly, you don't wanna miss it. So turn up the radio, it's Youth on the Go. Youth on the Go. Oh, let's start the show. Oh, Youth on the Go. Oh, let's start the show. Oh, let's go, let's go, let's go. I will learn new things. I will be creative. Grab your gears, let's gather around. An adventure is always waiting. With storytelling news for us, and we always know what's happening. We act, we play, we dance, we sing from 9 to 10 on Saturday morning. Youth on the Go. Whoa, let's start the show. Oh, Youth on the Go. Whoa, let's start the show. Whoa, let's go, let's go, let's go.
From Queen City, Nevis, this is the powerhouse of the Eastern Caribbean, Vaughn Radio.
All right, welcome back to Youth on the Go here on Vaughn Radio. I am ZAHNELA CLAXTON from the Ministry of Education ETEL, and we have had a long conversation here on Youth on the Go this morning, a very important conversation with the founder of Stepping Stone Nursery, the one and only Mrs. Leonie Decent, Leonie Patricia Decent, the one and only. Some persons call her Pat, some call her Decent, some people call her Auntie Pat, but whatever you call her, she's here, and she has been a long-standing contributor to early childhood here on Nevis. Stepping Stone Nursery celebrating their 35th anniversary in a short order, and as we said, each Saturday for the rest of the month we will be asking a trivia question, compliments about the Stepping Stone Nursery and compliments the Stepping Stone Nursery and their partners. The first question, though, will be given by Mrs. Decent herself, and we are going to, once she's given the question, she will hang up so that we can clear the lines for the winner or winners to call in. I don't know if there are any parameters, if it's open to just children, or if we're going to allow for an adult to answer as well. So Mrs. Decent, you can tell me that part, and then you can ask the question when you're ready.
Yes, I'm back on.
Yes.
Just before I read the question, I just want to point out two things. The Thanksgiving service would be held at the St. Paul's Anglican Church, and it is very important for me to say that from the inception, the Mothers Union of that church has adopted Stepping Stone. They make contributions throughout the year, especially during our graduation season. And the graduation, the host at Mount Pelier, that's where we had our very first graduation.
Wow.
So we thought that we'll go back to that place.
Wow, I think that is excellent. Great news, Mrs. Decent, and I can see the sentimental connection even on the calendar, and a good bit of history there as well. Who knows? I hope everyone heard, because that might be the trivia question next week. But Mrs. Decent, you can launch the trivia question for us.
So the question is, Stepping Stone Nursery celebrates its 35th anniversary on the 1st of May 2025. The question is, when did Stepping Stone Nursery commence its operation? Give us the date and the year, and please, it would be nice if you tell us your age and your sex, whether you're a girl, boy, and your age.
So it's open to children, so girl or
children.
boy?
A little mathematical question.
A bit of math.
When did Stepping Stone Nursery commence its operation? Give us the date and year, where the commencing date and year.
Okay, perfect. All right, so Mrs. Decent, we're going to have to have you hang up and clear the lines. Thank you so much, boys and girls. We talked a lot about Stepping Stone Nursery. Mrs. Decent launched the first question, and the first question is, when did Stepping Stone Nursery commence its operations? Give us the date and the year.
Good morning.
Good morning, how are you?
I'm good.
Wonderful, how old are you?
10 years
You're
old.
10 years old. Can you tell us the date and the year when Stepping Stone Nursery commenced operations, the day, month, year.
The 1st of May, 1990.
Okay. And what is your name?
Malaika Dalton.
Malaika Dalton. All right. So Malaika Dalton, Mrs. Descent, is a female, and she is 10 years old. And Malaika is very correct. Congratulations, Malaika. And
Thank you.
You're welcome. You will collect your prize at the Stepping Stone Nursery between Monday and Friday. Monday and Friday between 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. Okay? And your gift will come compliments the Divinity Touch. And Malaika is enrolled at the Charlestown Primary School. Malaika, by any chance, did you attend the Stepping Stone Nursery?
I was a past student of Stepping Stone.
You are a past student of Stepping Stone, so we're going to give a big shout out and celebration for that fact. And Malaika, I know Mrs. Dayson must be grinning from ear to ear, so she'll be happy to see you when you go to get your prize. Make sure you take a picture with her, okay?
Okay.
All right, bye. Have a great Easter break.
Thank you. You too.
Okay, bye. Thank you. All right, so Malaika Dalton, a past student of Stepping Stone Nursery, celebrating 35 years, is the first winner of the Stepping Stone Trivia Quiz. As I said, she is a student of the Charlestown Primary School. She's 10 years old, and she attended Stepping Stone Nursery when she was a baby toddler. And she won a prize, compliments Divinity Touch gift shop on Main Street. And we must say commendations and thank you to Divinity Touch for donating that prize. Malaika will go on up to Stepping Stone Nursery, and she'll get a chance probably to see Teacher Dacent and maybe some other teachers with whom she interacted when she was younger. I think it will be a nostalgic experience and one that is very sentimental. They'll get to take pictures, and we'll get to see them celebrating as we take the road to Stepping Stone turning 35. May 1st, 2025, Stepping Stone Nursery will turn 35. Okay? And so congratulations, and we want to thank Mrs. Dacent also for taking the time out this morning and speaking to us about childcare on Nevis. What was the impetus, the reason for starting Stepping Stone, and some of the challenges, some of the things, the positive things that have brought her to this space. She is the only serval trained provider on the island. She indicated that, and that included having to travel to Trinidad for a period of 6 months to receive that training. And she has had a strong caregiving team behind her for the last 35 years. However, in starting out, of course, she was the founder and first teacher and supervisor, and lots of hats. She wore lots of hats back then, but she also indicated that among her first staff members were Mrs. Karen Williams Powell, who dedicated a significant amount of time to Stepping Stone, and Miss Karen Herbert, who is still with Stepping Stone after joining 32 years ago. That is a level of investment and a time that you don't often see. And from Youth on the Go, we want to say congratulations and thank you to Mrs. Dacent, to the Stepping Stone team, for their contributions to early childhood development. We look forward to all of the activities outlined on the calendar, and to enjoying and celebrating with you, joining in the fun, and of course reflecting as well. Some of us might remember some of what happened then, some persons might not have remembered what happened then. Their parents might have shared the stories, you may have had pictures. Whatever it is, we want you to join in the celebration if you're in any way associated with Stepping Stone Nursery. Thank you, Mrs. Dacent, and at this point we're going to say thank you to all of our listeners and viewers who have joined us today. We want you to all, once again, our children, we want you to enjoy your Easter break. Make sure you find some engaging activities. We don't want you to spend all of your time focused solely on the electronics, but so we want you to focus on other activities, making sure that you are well-rounded even through the summer. For our students preparing for CXC, you have less than a month before your first day of exams, whether it be CAPE or CSEC, and so we want to help you, to encourage you to continue to focus on that. You're almost there. You have about 2 months to go to completion. You can do this, and we wish you the very best as you continue your final stages of your preparation. We wish you a wonderful week, and we look forward to joining you again next week.
From Queen City, Nevis, this is the powerhouse of the Eastern Caribbean, Vaughn Radio.
It's time, come on, rise and shine. You know, I know we're gonna have a great time. And now we're past it quickly, you don't wanna miss it. So turn up the radio, it's Youth on the Go. Youth on the Go. Oh, let's start the show. Oh, Youth on the Go. Oh, let's start the show. Oh, let's go. I will learn new things. I will be creative. Grab your gears, let's gather around. An adventure is always waiting. With storytelling news for us, and we always know what's happening. We act, we play, we dance, we sing from 9 to 10 on Saturday morning. Youth on